Good afternoon. Welcome back to BTN TV Live. I'm Donna Aroldi, Senior Editor for Transportation for Business Travel News. And this afternoon I am here with Heinrich Lange, who is the Senior Director of Sales, Northern Europe for Lufthansa Group. Henry, welcome.
Thanks for having
Good
me.
to see you again.
Yes.
We were on a panel this morning, if some of you caught it, on sustainable aviation fuel. Thank you for participating in that as well.
Absolutely.
But what I want to start with is I want to talk to you a little bit about what you're seeing at Lufthansa in terms of corporate travel recovery. Mm-hmm. Share with me what you can, either globally, domestically, UK.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so based in the UK, maybe that it also serves as a good example, I think, for larger trends at the moment. I think at the moment, when we look at it, recovery, obviously look at it very closely because it is quite dynamic after the pandemic. But we're currently nearing levels of 50% recovery overall in the corporate segment, and that's in this year. Looking at the past month and also the current outlook, still I would say that the trend is your friend, and I think, if you look at it a little bit deeper, what is really interesting to see that every month we simply see absolute numbers increasing. I think Easter was a bit of a period where you could see after that definitely more traffic picking up. So we do expect that this recovery still continues a bit more over the next month.
Great. And what are you seeing in terms of patterns from your corporate clients? Whether they're different or the same from pre-pandemic?
Yeah, I think one thing that we're witnessing recently is that the buying behavior, so the days before departure when the tickets are bought, are really short-term, and even surprisingly a little bit more short-term even than pre-pandemic. So it's really, I just looked it up this morning again, just if we look at our June bookings of our corporate travelers, it's really the majority is either booked in June or May, and so it is very, very, very short term. That's one pattern. Other than that, I think what we see in terms of destinations, it's I think there are no big surprises. We see a lot of point-to-point traffic into our different hubs, because obviously the Lufthansa Group serving the UK from Frankfurt, Munich, Vienna, Zurich, Brussels, we see those destinations popping up as really popular ones, but especially also together with our joint venture partners of United Airlines and Air Canada. Also the US is really picking up again quite a bit when it comes to corporate traffic. So I think no big surprises there, but just good to see that those trunk lines really are the front runners when it comes to the recovery.
Did you see a pickup after the US eliminated its testing requirement?
Yeah, I mean, we to be honest, we also already last year, obviously when the opening happened, the storyline for the US changed. But of course, the change of testing requirement, I think, went very, very viral in the aviation community, and is of course a huge help for private and corporate customers alike.
Right. Speaking of private and corporate customers, the balance between the two, the leisure and business. I've had this theory that because leisure travelers are booking premium seats, business travelers are coming back on board. Is there a bit of a clash?
There is indeed. At the moment, we do see it already. Throughout the pandemic, we saw, especially in the summer, that leisure traffic in general was a bit more resilient. So people, when they could, with the travel restrictions, were traveling and trying to take a vacation abroad. And this summer, there's no difference in that, and it's rather accelerated. And we do see indeed a trend that there are also more and more private customers that obviously want to spoil them a little bit, and the value proposition, maybe also after a long time of not traveling, spoiling themselves with a premium product, better seating, better food, lounge access, fast lane at the airport, that this has an increased value also to the private traveler. So we do see that, and on busy flights and busy days, and we do get quite full again these days. This means, with the booking pattern I mentioned earlier, if you try to book very late for a flight next week, it might mean that there's very limited to no capacity left. So you're right with your
theory. For the business traveler.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
What about sustainability? Talk a little bit about what Lufthansa is doing in that arena.
Yeah. I think first to say is that really, I think you cannot de-link corporate recovery in general from the discussion of sustainability, because I think it's, especially in different industries, this topic is on everyone's mind. So I think at the moment a lot of our reactivation and re-engagement with corporate clients is always tied into a discussion on where do you stand on sustainability? Do I have a strategy? Do you need something from us? Can we help you with this? And this is really for those that indeed are interested in this topic. We do, besides the larger topics that we have, buying new aircraft in for simply increasing the efficiency of our production. A large part of our buyer-supplier relationship right now is engaging and offering products for offsetting, but also for more, even more so now with sustainable aviation fuel. So we're trying out with different programs to integrate it into existing programs. For SME, we have this Partner Plus Benefit platform, or basically corporate, similar to a loyalty scheme on an individual basis. They gather points that they can use, and there we added SAF, and there we see the first traction really coming up. But we're also open to have any individual discussion with corporate clients to see what they need and how we can help on this path of sustainability.
Yes, and as we discussed this morning,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
early days.
Yeah.
So lots to still learn and lots to develop.
Yes.
We know the airline industry has been facing challenges with the return demand a little faster than anticipated. And I know Lufthansa sent a letter to its customers this week,
right,
apologizing for some of the cancellations and future cancellations that are planned.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, and also that it's not going to be a short-term fix. It could
yes.
be a year, up to a year, before things are back to reliable operations. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, yes.
How are you relating that? That was for your general customers. How are you communicating that to your corporate buyers?
Yeah. I mean, in the end, the first thing is the individual travelers of a corporate are also simply, right, in that moment when they're affected, they're regular customers and travelers, right? So everyone needs to know that obviously we're also not happy or satisfied with what is going on, and that our ambitions are obviously higher, and that we're working hard on this to improve the situation for all of our customers. I think with travel management, we obviously engage in a more individual discussion to see their concerns, where we can help, but also to understand a little bit what their travel patterns are, because as much as there are issues out there, it also doesn't mean every origin destination will be affected. So there are certain things that also that can be done. Use of our digital solutions, for example, for already checking in and maybe avoiding queues. But also things like, if I just take the example here in Heathrow, we also extended our possibilities for twilight check-in on the day before, so that the next day when you actually travel, you don't you can skip the check-in. So there are small bits and pieces that we obviously try to engage with travel management, that they are in a better position to advise their travelers how to best travel.
Great. Yes, technology, I noticed, is definitely becoming a key element for alleviating the friction that is in today's travel environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing, because you mentioned the cancellations, obviously part of that is especially because at the moment I think there's a lot of talk and news out there about cancellations. I think we need to also differentiate. I think a key point for us in terms of taking care of our customers is we're doing some steps in terms of cancellations midterm now to really make sure that we avoid those very short-term cancellations for our customers, because I guess we all agree this has the most of the disruption for our customers, which we absolutely want to avoid. And also on the day, as we have a lot of demand and we are getting quite full, it's also getting more difficult to then on the spot find alternative solutions.
Great. Well, that sounds good. Thank you so much again for your time. I appreciate it. I hope the rest of the show goes well for you.
Absolutely.
And thank you again for your insights on what's happening at Lufthansa.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.